it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew, -1 unfortunately, but tonight I have with me the wonderful Spigs18 or Anthony. And if you haven't, be sure to follow us here on Twitch or subscribe to us on YouTube. If you haven't already, it helps us out a ton and it helps us keep bringing you wonderful content. So Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
Hey, we all about the open gaming license for Monty Cook Games, specifically Cypher System. First off, I want to apologize for being about 20 minutes late. We had a couple of technical issues. We also were trying to get weight on Dean, but unfortunately, the show must go on. We had to move forward. But Dean, if you're listening, we love you. Hurry back, maybe we can fit you in. But yeah, we're going to talk about the open gaming license, the Cypher System open gaming license, or what is it? The CSOL for short. I think we're going to have to come up with a snazzier name. I think I heard a better name on Twitter. I just don't remember it off the top of my head that someone else was saying, like a cool name. So if anyone in the chat knows.
I think it was Dean who said CSOL, like a seesaw, but you say CSOL. But I don't know if that's the one you're referencing.
Yeah.
Oh, CSOL. Yeah, there it sounds like CSOL. There we go. That's what. Yeah.
Definitely, if there's a more catchy name, let us know. But you know, either way, it's still freaking cool. So we're gonna talk about this whole open gaming license because this has been nothing but the talk on our server, and well deserved. This is extremely big news. So we're gonna break. I think the first thing we want to make this a discussion between us and the community. So, CSOL, Brian put in there. Maybe that's it, CSOL. Yeah. So we want to make this a discussion with the community. So we're gonna read the entire document because it isn't long, right? And then I just jotted down like 7 questions that I think will be fun questions for us to give our opinions and the chat to give their opinions on. Because once again, this is all speculation. And I want to put this out there because I think with the announcement of the open gaming license, there's been there's been a huge influx of people talking about Monty Cook Games, specifically Cypher System, that aren't part of the normal community, which is awesome, which is great. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. But with that, there's been a lot of confusing the name Cypher Unlimited with Cypher System. So I just want to throw the disclaimer out there. Cypher Unlimited we are purely a fan-run server dedicated to all things Monty Cook Games. We are fans. We do know the MCG team. They have been wonderful to us and have provided us with great tools to advance our community. But we do not work for Monty Cook Games in any form or fashion. And we're just like you. Everything that we're going to say today is our opinions and our speculation. Yes, we are mentioned in this document, and we do have something in the works that we're planning to do with MCG, but we do not work for MCG in any form or fashion. Yeah, it's just funny. I saw somebody even posted a YouTube video with our name attached to it, and it was like I had to autocorrect it and a couple people on Twitter. And it's totally unofficial. Yeah, thank you, guys. We're the unofficial Discord. We're the largest fan-run Discord server. The keyword is fan. And of course, we love everything MCG does. That's why we do what we do, but we do not speak for or work for Monty Cook Games in any fashion.
Yes, it's definitely needed saying. We know our regulars know what's up, but yeah, it definitely happened on Twitter as well. Someone said Cypher System by Cypher Unlimited, and they tagged us instead of Monty Cook Games, and I was like, wait a second, we don't make that game.
First of all, I wouldn't mind that Cypher Unlimited check for the Kickstarter, though. Being honest.
But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right into it by reading the small little announcement they made. I'm just gonna read it word for word, and then we'll open it up to discussion. But yeah, so announcing the Cypher System open license, and this is written by Charles Ryan, released on June 6th. And yeah, Hot on the heels of the amazing success of Kickstarters for the Cypher System-based Title Blades and Old Gods of Appalachia role-playing games, and as part of an exciting 10th anniversary year, Monte Cook Games LLC is pleased to announce the forthcoming Cypher System open license. The Cypher System Open License (CSOL) will allow publishers, gamers, and members of the public to freely create and market tabletop role-playing games compatible with and using rules from the Cypher System. It will be released to the public this summer. Through the Cypher System Open License, publishers will be allowed to duplicate content from the Cypher System Reference Document, the CSRD, a version of the Cypher System rules that includes nearly all rules content in the Cypher System rulebook, plus content from other MCG sources. Character generation, core game rules, optional and variant rules, creatures, ciphers, items, artifacts, and more will be included in the CSRD. Text from this forthcoming CSRD may be duplicated in part or in full within the products created under the Cypher System Open License. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Publishers are invited to capitalize on the commercial success of the Cypher System as evidenced by the nearly $3 million in Kickstarter funding this year alone, as well as 10 years of Monte Cook Games products, and make the most of its amazing flexibility, ease of play, narrative focus, and fun gameplay as they bring their creativity to life. Open licensees will be able to create adventures, settings, supplements, and even entire self-contained games using the Cypher System, and to modify, change, and add to the Cypher System rules as best serves their vision. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Cypher System Open License and Cypher System Reference Document will be released to the public this summer. And in the meantime, several select licensees have begun work on titles based on the CSOL. And then they provide a few examples here of a few forthcoming CSOL titles.
Yeah, we'll definitely go over those examples in a few minutes. But the first thing I would say is, as a native New Yorker that grew up in the inner city, me personally, I love the name drop flex. You know, the first thing, the name drop flex is like, yo, check it out. We made $3 million on Kickstarter, and you can too. You know, you gotta love the flex. First of all, you know, anybody that's a fan of wrestling or hip hop understands what the flex is. So you gotta love the flex.
I mean, they did do outstanding with both those Kickstarters, and what is it? Old Gods did way better than I was expecting, and than I think anyone expected, quite honestly. And it's amazing that they're able to flex in this way, like, because they deserve it. They really deserve that. Yeah. But yeah.
All right. So the first thing that we're definitely going to talk about is that the first question that a lot of people commonly been asking is that this is obviously related to Cypher System and the worlds of Cypher products. There is, I mean, once again, we personally haven't seen, even though I believe, and I know Gans is in the chat as well, but I believe we will be privy to an early copy of the Open Gaming License, if I'm not correct. But right now, at this moment, we have not seen the document, but I believe from what I've read and what Dean so eloquently read in chat, you know, to the chat, is that
my name's Al.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Al. This only applies, I know I'm used to having Dean here. This only applies to Cypher System and the Cypher System related products. I could be wrong. Once again, we're not entirely sure, but from what I gathered from this statement, this only applies to Cypher System, the books and the books that are directly connected to the Cypher System. So that would be the 9 setting books and possibly the future books that are coming out. Whether you could work for those individual titles is still up for debate, but I think they fall under that window. This does not apply to Numenera. This does not apply to The Strange. This does not apply to Invisible Sun or No Thank You Evil. That's just my opinion, what I think it's going to be. I could be wrong, but that's what I gathered from reading this statement.
The phrasing in the document, from what I've read, it definitely seems to lean in that direction, and it kind of makes sense too. Like they want to have, exclusive rights to work on their own. Like Numenera is like their baby, right? Like they want to be the ones making the Numenera stuff, so that makes sense. But what would be interesting again, since The Strange has basically been discontinued, if they allowed us to play with that stuff. That I could possibly see being the exception. They might add the Strange mechanics in there. Possibly, again, we're just speculating here, because again, they've basically said they're done working on that, right? So why not let us play there? You know what I mean? Like, but I think you're hitting the nail on the head as far as Cypher related products.
I think this is more, once again, we're only speculating because everyone here and everyone in chat, please chime in with the speculation because that's what we're here for. We want all the speculation because we'll watch this video in a year and see all the crap we got wrong and the few stuff that we got right. So we definitely want to have this discussion. But this is, to me, it definitely seems focused on the CSR. The reason why I think it might be open to some of the original setting books is because the Cypher Creator Program had a little leeway with some of the setting books. Because I know people were able to create, were able to create adventures for Gods of the Fall, Gonza in particular, and some other products. So I think maybe, but I think ultimately, I think the goal is to encourage brand new, out of the box, totally either new settings or games entirely using the chassis of the Cypher system as its base.
I'm inclined to believe that. What you call it, Johnny Z. They in the chat say I 100% no Numenera, but I bet anything else is on the table. I hope that because again we get the Strange, and what would be the other game? It would be. No, it would just be the Strange, right? No Numenera, and add everything else because the Strange is the other. Well, I guess we wouldn't see like what is it?
I mean,
Black
I'm
Cube,
not sure
Invisible
if they will
Sun.
open it up to the Strange because I'm still in the camp that, once again, this is all speculation, but I'm still in the camp that MCG will return to the Strange on a Kickstarter at some point. That's just been my gut feeling for the last 2 years, and I'm sticking to it until I'm right. So I'm just gonna keep on putting it out in the airwaves. I still think that the Strange I don't think we've heard the last of the Strange. As a Kickstarter form or a set of books. That's just my personal opinion.
That would be awesome, and I know a lot of our community would love to see the Strange stuff. But what was I going to say?
I think everything else would be fair game.
I mean, so you think they're going to open it up to like No Thank You Evil and
no, everything else that's CSR related.
Yes, no, I agree with that. Yeah, all like Stay Alive, like all those Gods of the Fall, all those books I feel will be under purview of this. But I feel like the Strange maybe, and then no on Numenera, No Thank You Evil, Invisible Sun. I feel like those will be the big no's, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, I'm almost 100% positive that, or at least this current, wave. I mean, this current document is not going to mention any of those things. Once again, I think it's going to be strictly CSR.
Makes sense.
So I think the first. Oh, actually, no. Let's go into the projects. Right. We'll talk about the projects real quick because, and also another quick disclaimer: we're one of the 3 projects on here, and the other 2 are both phenomenal projects that I'm really excited for. But just to put the disclaimer out there. Both these people are great friends of Cypher Unlimited and personal friends of ours. So, judge for yourself. But personally, I'm excited for both of these projects. But I just throw it out there that everybody knows that we're great friends with Chris. We're great friends with Andrew. So, I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. But we're just throwing it out there. So,
I've definitely seen
the first project.
Yeah,
and I think we have Chris in the chat. And we will be doing separate videos for each one of these projects in the near future with the designer. Hopefully we'll have some stuff to show when we have them on, but we'll definitely be doing that as well in the future.
I definitely have seen people talk about Mystery Flesh Pit National Park
I
just
love the
on
title.
Twitter. Yeah, it's an amazing title. But let me go ahead, and this is coming from Gandhi Gaming or Chris Neglin. Or did I pronounce that right? I always butcher the
Tagline.
last name. Negline. All right, Chris Negline, who's in the chat here, Gandhi Gaming. We'll be having him on to talk about it. But let me go ahead and read the little description they have here of it. Jim Jackson, a small-time Texan oil man, opened the gates to the Mystery Flesh Pit roadside attraction back in the 1970s. It was the crown jewel of Midwest Texas tourism even as it became a national park. But years of mismanagement, mining operations, and the accidental catastrophe of 2007 changed everything. Venture into literally 50 years of cosmic horror as a park ranger, a tourist, or even a lab fugitive. You're invited to be fully enveloped in the official Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. It's a tongue twister. A stunning mix of cosmic horror with
Damn it,
corporate
Joseph.
and government satire. The Mystery Flesh Pit National Park RPG is a complete standalone tabletop role-playing game by Christopher Robin Neglin and Gonza Gaming, powered by the Cypher system. It's in development now and comes to Kickstarter in 2023. You can learn more about the Mystery Flesh Pit at mysteryfleshpitnationalpark.com, and be sure to sign up to receive updates on this game and other cool Gonza Gaming CSOL projects.
You know what I freaking like about this project? Like straight off the bat,
The name?
there is nothing anywhere near this currently out for the Cypher system. So this is like totally original. And when I look at settings, and if I see, like, I don't know, and this is just a personal opinion, if I could look at a setting and immediately think of 2 or other 3 settings that are similar to it, it kind of like gives me that feeling. But there's nothing freaking like this. So this just builds the excitement. So I definitely want to, see how far this project goes. I'm definitely going to back it, and we're going to have Chris on, and hopefully he could drop us some secret jewels live on the stream, for the audience. But yeah, this is going to excite me. And the minute when I just read this little, this little excerpt, and I was like, oh man, this sounds really, really cool. And there's nothing like this in the Cypher system. And I could only imagine the foci and the ciphers and abilities that he could develop for this. If you've read any of Chris's stuff, he's a top-notch writer and game designer. So yeah, I have nothing but excitement and faith that this is going to be a great project.
I fully agree on that one. Chris's stuff gets talked about all the time on the server. You see, all of his like Mortal Fantasy get brought up a lot. And yeah, people are excited about this upcoming thing, and I am as well. It sounds right up my alley. Weird, Midwest, like it's amazing. It sounds really cool, and yeah, I'm excited to talk to Chris more about it and hear more about it. When we have him on.
Yeah, we definitely going to have him and Andrew on, who's the writer of this next project.
So are we skipping this next one? Yeah. Do you want me to read this one too?
Yeah.
All right. So GM Roulette from Cypher Unlimited. Don't know who those guys are, but GM Roulette. GM Roulette is a fun, fast-paced way to play an RPG on a night you don't have anything planned, or you just want a few hours of fun with no prep. This roulette-style game gives everyone a moment in the GM seat with rules and guidelines for a fun, successful, guided, improvised game. It plays in 3 hours or less with no prep. Grab your Cypher System rulebook and open up the box. Look for GM Roulette on Kickstarter late this year. You can join the Cypher Unlimited Discord, I'll prop the link in there soon, for more news about it and to participate in play testing of GM Roulette. So, yeah, want to talk a little bit about it, Ed?
All right. Essentially, I know we have videos on our YouTube channel that's essentially the alpha test. We've sat down and we've crafted a ton of new rules. We've added a ton of new mechanics to. We essentially took the idea of, hey, take the Cypher system and create an entirely different game, and that's essentially what we did. The best way I could describe it, if you like, it's like taking an improv class and Fiasco, and if you marry those, the game Fiasco and an improv class, and if you marry those two things together, you essentially have what GM Roulette is. Everyone gets to GM for 30 minutes, and the story continues on. So it's essentially an exercise in yes and, with a bunch of new mechanics added on top of the Cypher system chassis to facilitate not only improv but storytelling as a whole. And everything is literally done. There is absolutely no prep. Your genre is decided, your characters are decided, your ciphers are decided, the abilities that you're capable of doing in the game is all picked out and pulled from cards 5 seconds before the game starts. So you literally don't know what genre you're playing. It's a lot of fun. We have examples of it on our YouTube channel, but just a little disclaimer, that was us in the alpha testing when we thought we had a cool idea, because this was essentially our Gen Con game to bullshit with our friends with, that everyone liked and encouraged us to actually make a full game out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely if you watch our videos on it, it's definitely as Anthony put it, alpha. We've added a ton of things that basically make it a self-contained game experience. Like he said, there's prompt cards, there's cipher cards, there's pre-generated characters. Everything's all selected right before you play, and it's just so much fun. It's if you guys have a chance, I would definitely check out our Candyland one. That I think that's still my favorite one by far. That was super fun. But yeah.
You know, I have two. I also love. I love the one we played with Claire from Infinite Construct, the teen drama. That was hilarious to me. And Rule of Law, the game we played with Rule of Law was hilarious as well.
I think still Candyland still has a place in my heart. Maybe because it was one of the first, but that one is still that amazing. That game was so good. But
and
yeah.
Last but not least, just before we move on from GM Roulette, because this isn't about GM Roulette right now, but we also we brought on Eric Frankhouse as a project manager, and I think that's probably the greatest hire we could probably did to bring him in as a partner for this project, because he has a vast experience in the gaming community. And once again, we're three idiots that like to talk about gaming and have a passion and a love for gaming, but we are a little raw on the actual business side of things. So it was great to bring Eric on to, school us. He's been invaluable already in just the 2 months he's been with us, and I'm sure that will continue. So yeah, it's essentially the three of us and Eric Frankhouse from Eric Frankhouse Presents and North Foundry. Check his stuff out as well.
Most definitely. I dropped the link down below for people to check out Eric's stuff. And before we move on to the next one, what Gonza said, it sounds absolutely right. Also possibly drunk for GM Roulette. Like, this is definitely a game like you're gonna be goofing around. Like, I mean, if you have a group of serious players, have a serious game, but the way we've been playing it, yeah, is basically you're sitting around the table with your friends, drinking, doing whatever have you, just having a good time. And yeah, it's so fun.
And also too, everything in there is 100% original. So all the ciphers that are going to be included in there, all the artifacts that will be included in there, are all 100% original, that will not be in any other product. So, and I think the way we're handling ciphers and the way we're handling artifacts is completely different from what they currently are. So I think everyone is going to enjoy them when they see them.
Yeah, I'm
all
pretty
I'm
excited.
say is if you know your geek culture references, you're gonna really enjoy them.
Also, that's gonna go a lot of those. I mean, I haven't actually, because it's mostly been Anthony and Alvin, to be straightforward. Anthony and Dean have been writing like these ciphers and stuff, so I actually haven't looked at them. So I feel like a lot of these references are gonna go whoop right over my head. But anyways, moving along here. The last one mentioned is Blood and Chrome by Marlowe House, Andrew Marlowe, Monica Marlowe, wonderful people. But let me go ahead and read this little description they have here. So Blood and Chrome, a complete cyberpunk sourcebook and setting. Blood and Chrome introduces new types such as the celebrity.
Well, let me just answer one question real quick about Ganza, a PAE said, why don't you make it, CSOL said, why don't you wait for the CSOL and make it a standalone? It is absolutely a standalone product, but it's coming under the OSL. We are waiting. We're not announcing the Kickstarter until after the Cypher system open license is released anyway. And we're working with MCGs to help us make this product. So it's going to be a standalone product. You're only going to need this box set and the CSR book. So if you have the CSR book with this box set, you will not need anything else. Everything will be included between the rules, the newly created rules we make that will be included in the box set. Even the timer is coming in the box set. The XP cards, we're gonna have maps. Everything is gonna be in one box. You know, so it's essentially like a board game and an RPG. So yeah, it's all gonna be in one box. The only thing you're gonna need is a CSO.
Yep. Yeah. So let me go back into Blood and Chrome. But yeah, complete Cyberpunk sourcebook and setting. Blood and Chrome introduces new types such as the Celebrity, Fixer, and Razor, augmentations, matrix, and cyberspace rules, descriptors, foci, and more. Plus a complete and compelling setting, the near-future cyberpunk city of New Orleans. Blood and Chrome is a hefty sourcebook by Andrew Marlowe and Monica Marlowe, built on the greatly expanding Marlowe House's popular line of Cypher Burst products, first introduced through the Cypher System Creator Program on DriveThruRPG. Look for it on Kickstarter this summer. You can sign up to be notified for news about the Kickstarter here. And I'll go ahead and copy that link, send it here. I don't have their stuff, but yeah, go ahead.
We've actually had a pleasure to play some Blood and Chrome. We were lucky enough to have Andrew on to run us on the one side of Blood and Chrome. So I've played I've actually played 2 sessions of this. This is a phenomenal setting, and I talk to Andrew quite frequently, so I've been lucky enough to see some of the artwork and some of the ideas that are coming out of Andrew's head currently. And trust me when I tell you that this is going to be exciting stuff. If you want Cyberpunk in Cypher System, he is absolutely going to provide that. I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a phenomenal product just by talking to Andrew and hearing the ideas that he's coming up with. And he blows my mind every time I talk to him about it. And I could tell by his excitement that he's putting 150% into this. So I expect to see nothing but great things from this project. So yeah, I'm super excited. And I'm a sucker for Cyberpunk. So and I'm a sucker for Cypher System. So, you know, it's the Reese's peanut butter cup, the peanut butter and chocolate combination that, you know.
Yeah, as it's so lovingly called in the community, this sort of mashup, cypherpunk, definitely a very hyped up genre that people enjoy, and I enjoy it as well. I'm quite excited to see more from Andrew and Monica. They always put out great stuff, and you know the Blood and Chrome is already, I mean, not the full on setting or you know the source book or whatever have you, but in the links provided in our channel here, you can check out Blood and Chrome already. Like I believe there's descriptors already out, foci already out, and there's 3 products. I'm blanking on what the third one is, but he has bits and pieces of it already available. So if it's interesting to you, go check it out. It's already right there.
But I think it's okay to say this. If Andrew gets mad at me, he can always just kick my ass. But he's going to have a fully fleshed out setting. I believe he's going to have multiple adventures. I believe he's going to have a whole bunch of new like character types. The stuff he got planned is freaking awesome, y'all. I mean, I want to have Andrew on, and he could actually tell us for himself. But the stuff that I personally heard, I'm super excited to get my hands on. So I'm nothing but excited.
Yeah, it's all these products are very exciting. I'm just it's and not only these I like these particular products, just the fact that everyone's gonna be able to just do it now. Like they don't have to not worry about am I adhering to the guidelines of the Cypher Creator Program well enough? Because I will be frank, that was one of my roadblocks when starting to like write. So I was like, am I gonna follow all these rules properly? Like I know you have to look into it and whatnot. And there's gonna be rules with the CSOL as well, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot more freedom and flexibility within the CSOL for people to just go wild.
I mean, I think the obvious, the elephant in the room, the big difference is going to be is that you don't, in order to create Cypher content, you will not have to go through the Cypher Creator Program and along with the Cypher Creator Program, go through Drive-Through RPG. Because I think one of the biggest obstacles that, not small time creators, I don't think that's the proper terminology, but independent creators, having to split the money three ways was kind of very difficult for independent creator to really turn a big profit. And I think going OGL, going open gaming license, that might actually change the balance a little bit. It's going to make it more worthwhile and more beneficial financially for more creators to get involved in the Cypher system. So I think this is gonna, let me just open this up to like the questions that I wrote. And once again, these questions are not necessarily for only me and Al. I want everybody in the chat, because once again, everyone here is speculating. Everything we're saying here, there's, we don't have any secret information that other people aren't privy to. So let's just throw out all our wild ideas and hopefully something's gonna be right in the end. But I think we touched on this first question a little bit, but in case we forgot, anyone in chat forgot. So what do we know so far about this open license announcement? I think the first thing that we could say for certain, like what we said earlier, is that this definitely only involves the CSR. And I think another thing is that you will be able to go outside the Cypher Creator Program. I think those are the ones that we could definitely say that are definitely happening, is absolutely going to happen. I think everything else we're going to have to probably wait for the actual document.
Yeah, I think we that's pretty accurate. It's going to cover all the Cypher books, Stay Alive, the major setting books for Cypher Core, and nothing else. But we'll see. We're fingers crossed for the Strange, because they said they've abandoned it. So why not give us the fun to have? But I know my buddy here is still holding on hope that they have a secret Kickstarter planned for more of the Strange. But it would be nice to see it in the CSOL as well.
Other Doc, well, I've recently been half joking that with this license coming out, I'm now finally going to have to finish a fantasy Da Vinci Punk. I'm fucking down for that.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it for like ever. Hell yeah. And even if you don't finish it, freaking invite me so I can play it in one shot.
Yeah, that sounds very fun, not gonna lie. Yeah. Just Da Vinci Punk. All right, I'm sold. Let's go. That sounds amazing.
Hell yeah. So I think this is the second question we could skip, because I think we actually answered that. But this is a great question for the community, guys. How do you think this will affect the fan community as a whole?
I think we're gonna see, and we've already seen it kind of, an influx of interested people, new people. People who are now like, hey, I have an open playground on the way. So like, let me learn more about Cypher System. We've already seen that happen. Like, we're already seeing new interest of Cypher System, so that's awesome. As far as people who already are playing Cypher System, creating products, whatever have you, I feel like we're gonna see a lot more stuff now. Just because, like what I said before, there's that feeling of not being restricted by the creator program now. Again, not that I don't think it was very restrictive or anything, because again, I just have my own mental hangups about having to adhere to like a strict thing. But now that the open license is going to be pretty flexible, it says you can make your own fully self-contained source book, include the CSRD in it. Like, I think we're going to see a lot more stuff.
I personally think as a community, as a, whether we like the term or not, we are community coordinators, or I don't know, whatever the term would be, but we do help foster a community around Monica Games and Cypher System in particular. I think this is going to grow the community in ridiculous amounts. Because not only, if you just look at it, right, not only are you going to get the site, like if you notice, the first three people taking a crack at this is because we're all fans of Cypher System already. But now you're going to get all these wonderful creators that didn't necessarily look at MCG or Monty Cook Games as a way to generate revenue. So you're going to get this whole new influx of talented writers and artists that are going to start working on projects using the Cypher System. And the most important thing is not only hopefully they'll be creating great products, right? But the most important thing is they're going to bring their fan bases with them to Monica Games, to Cypher System, to the Cypher System community, and it's just going to grow the community, enormous.
I agree with that, and it would be wonderful to see. I mean, again, I don't really read too much, so you probably have a better understanding of bigger names within like the indie creator space that do stuff for D&D, that do stuff for Pathfinder. Now they might find their way over to Cypher System, which will be awesome. We'll just see a bigger variety of products, more stuff to play with, which is just as a player, as someone or a DM, whatever have you, as someone who enjoys Cypher System, it's all around good news. Even again, there is the possibility there's going to be some bad products, whatever have you, that just comes with this open license. There could be potentially bad things out there, but there's going to be a lot of stuff to look at, and hopefully some gems.
Yeah, and also too, we're gonna see people go in directions that, for good, bad, or indifferent, are going to be totally way off from what the Cypher System is. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm here for all that. I'm here for all that smoke. I'm here for the good ones. I'm here for the bad ones. One is just going to make great content for us to talk about on the show. So I'm selfish in that aspect. But also, I'm the kind of guy that I like trying weird and crazy stuff. So I'm with all the weird and crazy ideas that, people are going to, people just coming from different gaming spaces that have different mindsets and different thought processes that we don't, because let's be realistic. Majority of our gaming now is done within the Cypher System, Monica Games sphere. So we kind of have that, stuck in our heads. So anytime you get outsiders just bringing in fresh ideas, whether it's good or bad, it changes things. So, I'm here for that change. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Let me see if anybody in the chat said anything.
But while you're looking at that, what Gonza said here makes a lot of sense. Companies need content and they can't make it fast enough. Like Monty Cook Games is all of 10, 11 people now. Like I know they hired a couple people. I don't know if they were designers or whatever have you. I think one was, but either way, they're all of 10 to 12 people. Like they can only put out so much content, in a year. So,
like we didn't even mention that, and we have to get them back on. But Dominic Dickey was just recently hired by MCG, and we my apologies. We've had them on before, but we definitely want to contact Dominic and get them back on to talk with us because congratulations, Dominic Green. I mean, I told you on Twitter, Facebook, but I haven't got a chance to tell you live on the air. But congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. But it is going to be awesome to see, the sea of new content that's coming. Like, what is it? Mike says in chat there, more is better, good or bad. Like, we're just going to have so much stuff to look at now. And
and not only that, you're gonna we. It's not even the more stuff. It's gonna be the original stuff that's like like I know a lot of people loved and hated the OGL because I will say this: the OGL was great for communities, but it wasn't necessarily the best thing for Wizards of the Coast, right? I mean, just keeping it realistic, keeping it real, right? A lot. It was wonderful for us, but it wasn't necessarily the greatest thing. And I do not wish that for MCG. But with the birth of the same thing that happened with the OGL, you just had all these new ideas that basically changed not only D20, changed D&D and the D, just D20 gaming. It changed gaming as a whole. Like all these fresh ideas came out of the OGL. And I personally think that that's what's going to happen with the Cypher, open gaming license. You're going to see all these fresh new ideas. We don't know what they are right now, but I'm guarantee you there's somebody in the kitchen cooking right now. And they got, it's not only salt and pepper, they got the adobo, they got the soy sauce, they got all the sauces ready.
It's definitely going to be very exciting I definitely do enjoy weirder takes on things, so I'm quite excited as well. Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Cypher System fan. Very exciting time.
Hold on, let me just enjoy. I'm not going to go into the debate on this. I didn't say it was bad for gaming, but Gonzalo, I disagree. If anything, it made D&D way bigger. It made D&D the name bigger, but it didn't necessarily generate them more money. Because I understand that Pathfinder came from that, but that money, once it became Pathfinder, was no longer going into Wizards of the Coast profits. And at the end of the day, regardless of how we view corporate America, companies have to make money to sustain themselves. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying that it was bad for gaming or the community or the name of the brand. I was saying it was bad. It had bad elements for the company, as in the people generating the revenue.
Definitely makes sense. And again,
Pathfinder made millions, but that wasn't going to Wizards of the Coast pocket.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be awesome if we saw something similar happen where there's some super breakout success with some product produced under the CSOL. But I have a strong feeling, just from being within the community for so long, we're pretty loyal. Like as long as Montague Games keeps putting out stuff, we'll keep buying it. Like we know they put out bangers. Like we know they're gonna deliver on content, on art, on all that stuff. So as long as they keep putting out stuff, we'll keep buying it. Like the CSO, I don't think is gonna affect their profits too much. I don't think. I mean, again, this is speculation. I don't speak for everybody, but I just get that sense from us as a community.
Hold on a second. Love for Board Games asks a quick question. Do you know how long this was in the works and how long has Cypher Unlimited known? That's actually a great question. We've actually known
not that long though, and
we've known at least we had a meeting with Charles and Latier, I want to say 3 months before the announcement.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, I feel like 3 months is too long.
Oh, 2 months before the announcement?
Yeah, I feel like it was 2 months before they posted this little article. Yeah. So not a super long time.
Yeah, so we were aware of it.
We didn't know any details. None at all.
Yeah, we didn't know. So we just know, hey, look, this is coming. We're working on OGL. Like we didn't know. We knew less than what the statement was, to be honest. But we were aware maybe 1 or 2 months beforehand. And once again, thank you so much, MCG, for thinking of us to tell us. You know what I mean? But they just wanted a lot of people they know that are content creators or that are people that have communities. So they'll be able to, once the announcement happens, that we'll be able to spread out that information as quickly as possible for them. And of course, we're going to do that because we love them guys. We love their products. But yeah, we probably knew like 2 months in advance, if that maybe.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think we've asked
Oh yeah, Gonza,
specifically.
I'm pretty sure we learned around the same
Same
week.
time, yeah, they must have
Yeah.
reached out to all of us, but I don't, I don't think we've ever specifically asked Charles or any of them, hey, how long have you guys been considering this? I don't think that was ever a discussion.
Oh, but
Um,
I
yeah,
mean, just from the business perspective of this, this wasn't something that Monty, Shauna, and Charles woke up and said, "Hey, we're doing this." I
yeah,
guarantee you.
it's been a
Once
long
again,
time
this is
coming.
speculation, but I guarantee you, this has been in discussion for, if I had to guess, for at least a year.
Yeah, that would be my guess too. Maybe even two or something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't just wake up and go, "I'm gonna go open gaming." You know what I
yeah,
mean?
we do. We don't know the specific actual answer though, unfortunately. Yeah,
All right. So, the next question that we're gonna ask. So yeah, I think it's gonna have a positive effect for the community for sure. I think, I mean, of course, there's going to be some negatives with everything. There's negatives, but I definitely think the positive is going to outweigh the negative by far. But this is a pretty cool question, and once again, I love speculation questions. So, what are you expecting to see from the open license a year after its release?
a year. Oh boy.
So that means
So
that the open gaming license is going to be out for a year. Where do you expect it to be at that point?
uh popping,
This is the
just
ultimate
hot.
speculation
It's gonna
question.
be popping, I think, because people are already making Cypher stuff like through the creator program, and now that it's gonna be more loose and flexible, basically expanded, and you can make anything now. It seems like I think we're gonna see a ton of great self-contained core books. Like people love to make their own types and foci and whatnot. So I feel like we're gonna see a decent amount of what you call it, like self-contained source books, like for people's own settings and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's my prediction for a year from now. We're gonna see a lot of like verts, like a lot of some books similar. Like Title Blades is another example of like what people can make now that CSOL will be out. So I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of those kind of books.
Gonzo a year after its release, a lot of fantasy heartbreaker settings. Yeah, you'll definitely see a ton of fantasy settings. Yeah, I mean, I love fantasy, but that just happens when you allow community content creators. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be cool, but you're definitely going to see a ton of fantasy settings.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just,
Yeah.
it comes with the territory of TTRPG. It's just the staple that a lot of people know and take comfort in. So, yeah, that is a good prediction. A ton of fantasy, yes.
My D&D game in Cypher. Yeah. Yeah, but that happens with a lot whenever people make a content. Like you're gonna gravitate towards what you play at home because that's what half the work is already done.
Yeah.
So definitely you're gonna see a lot. I definitely think you're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see a lot of people doing. This is my foci, just book of different foci. You're gonna see a lot of those. Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, I definitely see people doing like
That's hilarious.
what is it? In that vein, like
Yeah.
foci, descriptors, types even. But yeah, because there's people do seem to enjoy having a bevy of like foci and descriptors, like especially what you call it, background type descriptors, like racial descriptors. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of tinkering with that.
All right, so here's two things that I think we might see. That one, I hope that this doesn't kill the Cypher Creator Program. Like it could work two ways. It could work that you can have those lower people that's just created on the Cypher Creator Program. So once again, we don't necessarily know. Or we don't know if they're going to abandon the Cypher Creator Program. When we get Charles on, that's a question that we definitely should ask because
Yes.
it might directly affect the way the Cypher Creator Program operates now because people wouldn't necessarily have to go that route in order to create content. So I wonder or at least change the way the wording is in the Cypher Creator Program, right? So I'm worried about the Cypher Creator Program. So I'm worried that in a year from time it might actually affect the Cypher Creator Program somehow. And the other thing that it's sad to say, but I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna start to see the exotic books. Because the one thing about the OGL, there was that dark side of the old. There was like that. You ever remember the old? This is for old people, right? So if you're under the age of 21, you probably don't know this reference. But you remember walking into the video game store and they had like the beaded curtain section, like the bead stuff. There's gonna be the Cypher exotic section.
I think you're meaning to say erotic. You're saying exotic.
I'm using exotic because it can form not necessarily. It doesn't have to be sexual.
Okay, good. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, but yes, there is. I've heard tales. I was not around for that, but I've heard tales.
Yeah, so because everybody that knows from the OGL days, there was like the books that everybody, and then there was that, hey, this is this one little dark section where they making some crazy stuff, and I wonder if there's gonna be somebody doing that. I know this is totally off topic, but just saying.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we don't have to have a beaded section on the Discord. You know what I mean? Like separated with beads. But yeah, I could definitely see that being a possibility.
Yeah, also too, this just made me think of this. But do you think that there's gonna be big IPs that might jump on board creating the game on Cypher system?
That would be awesome to see,
now
like Marvel or
OGL.
yeah, like to see some. That would be super cool because we already love
like a My Hero Academia, someone that has that IP for books or something. Just some random big IP that no one's ever. Might come out of left field. That'd be freaking cool too.
That's a prediction, but no, yeah, that's a good prediction or hope. I guess would be a better word. A good hope would to see big companies being like, hey, people are digging TTRPGs right now, and Cypher System just went to open license. We should look into that. Like, I feel like that could be a thing because again, TTRPGs are hot right now. Like, that stuff does well, like on paper, like number wise. So I can see a company that's holding a nice IP like Riot, whatever. Or some anime, some smaller company that owns some obscure anime IP coming to Cypher. Yeah,
open up books that are definitely I think Shadowrun could easily be done in Cypher system, very easily. Starheart, Typhonis Starheart wrote that Shadowrun, and also Sword Art Online. Yeah, I think both of those could easily be done in Cypher system.
Oh man.
I think both of them would be good.
I'm about to. What is it? Jagos just said Gurren Lagann. Like, if I could contact the people who own the Gurren Lagann IP rights and be like, yo, I will write a TTRPG for this. I would do it. I love that anime so much. It's crazy. It's such a bonkers anime. It is absolutely insane. If anybody out there likes anime, watch Gurren Lagann. If you haven't seen it, it's bonkers. It's actually fucking bonkers.
So does anyone in chat want to give their opinion what they expect to see in a year from the Cypher Creator Program before we go on to our next question?
Oh, all these suggestions would be fantastic. Isekai would be awesome if they allowed the strange into the CSOL. I don't know if you know what that genre is, Isekai, Anthony. That's like transported to another world. That's a whole genre in and of itself. It's called Isekai. The strange would be perfect for that because of your recursions and translating. Like, that would be fantastic for an Isekai. But again, we'll see if the strange actually comes to the CSOL. But if it does, Isekai supplement super easy.
We kind of touched on this, but definitely, can you think of any pros and cons to going into open license that we might not be expecting at this moment?
The biggest con, we already touched on it, would be that it tanks Cypher sales, like Monte game sales tank because of this. but I don't
Or
think that's actually going to
the
happen.
worst case scenario is create open competition with your own rule set. You
Yes,
know,
that is
you
definitely
know.
the biggest con I could see
I
happening
mean, I
is
don't think it'll happen, but
um
that would be the biggest con. But I don't think it will happen. The pros, I think, once again, this is not like the community. I think the pros just outweigh the cons. But that's one con I could possibly think of happening. Another con, it might bloat. Like it wouldn't happen initially, but you could worry about bloat. Like just having way too many books and just a new gamer getting in or have information overload because they wouldn't know where to start beyond the CSR because it's just too many products.
well, the cool thing about that, and even because again, even Mike mentioned this earlier, more is better regardless if it's good or bad. The new people coming in, and again, hopefully they'll come join Cypher Unlimited to get some guidance, but they should be sticking. New people should be sticking with the stuff created by Monte Cook Games themselves. I don't think they're gonna stop producing things. So even if they're looking for something
Oh no,
newer to
absolutely.
play, Monte Cook Games will still have something for them. It's not. Again, there will be a lot of stuff to like. Let's say this new person now wants to go beyond the Monte Cook Games products, then that could potentially be a problem. But even that in of itself, by that time they're done with Monte Cook Games catalog, which is gonna be gigantic, or is already pretty big. They should have their feet wet enough that this sea of products shouldn't be overwhelming. But again, that's just
Oh,
speculation,
hold
rants,
on.
and whatever.
There's some great convo in this. There's some great points brought up in chat right now that we didn't mention, so we want to bring up.
Yeah.
I think Gonza wrote the biggest con for a publisher is that you don't get the branding. That's essentially what I mean. Like if a setting comes out and it becomes, which I don't foresee anything surpassing Numenera when it comes to Cypher system, but it's still that 0.1% possibility. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see that, right? Blondie guy brought up a great point. Possible con. I'm not sure if any vetting is involved, but hurtful content could possibly be released through the open license. That's why we were talking about the erotic, exotic, beaded
Yes.
curtain thing,
Um,
and also bad products. Like if you have you ever heard a story like some consumers only give game anything one chance, and if the first product they buy is a freaking horrible mess, they may just not buy anything that's Cypher system related. You know what I mean? Because the first initial product they purchased stunk. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll happen often, but that is a possibility.
yeah.
Once again, it's a low possibility, but it is a possibility.
Yeah, I think those are definitely very good points to be brought up, and not just with excuse me, specifically with the hurtful content. What you call it? It's not just like the erotic, exotic, or whatever have you. Someone might be pushing a hurtful agenda with a Cypher system product. I don't actually see that happening within like the Cypher sphere, but like it could. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't see anything like that. And if anything like that does crop up, again, the community is of a pretty even mindset when it comes to like tolerance and whatnot. So I feel like someone like that will get disowned pretty quickly. But yeah, there's definitely possible cons.
Yeah, and I think the pro is just the obvious pro. You're just going to bring so many eyes to your company, so many eyes to your system, so many eyes that you wouldn't have normally, looked at the Cypher system are now looking at the Cypher system, right? So, not only are you going to get the, like I said earlier, the content creators, the game designers, the game developers that didn't necessarily work in the Cypher system space, will now look at it and say, hey, this is a possible way to generate revenue. And with them creating products, they bring along their fan bases, they bring along the people that follow them, who then become fans of the system, who hopefully become fans of Monte Cook Games, and hopefully not only purchase the independently produced products, purchase products from MCG as well.
Yeah, most definitely. You, what you call it? It's gonna be beneficial all around. Like everyone is gonna basically bounce off each other when it comes to like products being sold or whatever have you. And even like not counting. I mean, obviously it would be nice for Monte Good Games to see more sales, but the people producing content, they're gonna see like if they make something that's related to something someone likes, they're gonna like one person might end up scooping up something from 3 or 4 different creators because they're kind of in line with the idea that they want to put forward. So, yeah, it's a lot of good pros here when it comes to people having access to
JCC
products.
asks, will the CSOL allow players to allow people to resell the CSOL for less money? That is a great question that we've been talking about internally. And check back with me in a few months and I could possibly answer that question for you.
Yeah, that is
Because
actually a great question.
yeah, I mean that's actually a question that we've had internally, but we have not asked that question yet, but we do plan to ask it.
Yeah, it's and the wording of the release statement here, the one that we have pulled up, it does say that it says almost all, or I forget the exact verbiage, but it says it implies that some stuff will be left out. So we'll
Yes.
see exactly what is being left out when they actually release the license. But as of now, it seems like that is a possibility. Someone could just verbatim copy the the
Yeah,
CSR
I mean, I
and be
think
like,
it's going to
"This
be
is my
similar
book."
to the CSRD from 5e, like, or it might even be similar to the 4e version. I forgot what the name of that was, but they still have to hold on to some intellectual IP, guys. Like at the end of the day, you got to remember that this is a company, and they can't give. You can't let somebody come in your house and take everything. You still have to be able to generate some sort of revenue from your intellectual property. Like that's why I saw the people complaining about they're not letting doing Numenera, but it's like, come on, I'm letting you in my house. You want my Netflix account too, dude? Like, come on, I'm letting you chill in my house. Like, so
Oh,
like at the end of the day, they're gonna have to keep some stuff for themselves.
it would definitely be interesting to see if someone tries to basically copy Numenera and make their own like sort of thing within, you know what I mean? Because that also is a possibility, right? They just reflavor it and make a whole new setting that's essentially Numenera, but it's their own setting, but it's not on the Numenera bone, so it uses the Cypher core rules instead of the Numenera
Yeah, but
rules.
I think people are gonna get away with that. But it's just using the terminology of Numenera,
Yes,
the character types,
yes, you won't be
the
able to do that. No, yes,
locations,
no.
like the creatures,
It's
and the
definitely.
way Cypher is so modular and so plug and play that the creatures are very easy. You could take a creature that's in an existing book and reflavor it and have a similar quality with just slightly differences that you will be able to get away with it. Like I think Cypher is extremely easy to design for.
Most definitely. But hopefully, again, it's gonna be fun. Again, I hope. Again, I hope, and I don't hope at the same. This is a weird place I have myself in to see these Numenera copies built within the CSOL.
Oh, I guarantee you. Once again, I guarantee you that we're gonna see a Numenera clone. I guarantee you we're gonna see a Predation clone
Oh,
and
I'm excited.
maybe
The strange clone, like.
a strange clone. Yeah.
I definitely want to review those books. But again, hopefully the strange will actually be included within the CSOL, so we can actually play within the strange. Because again, I know you're
Yeah,
holding out
but
hope, but I don't.
yeah, I mean, I love the settings. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather play by the stuff that the creators created for the setting. Like, if I want more predation, I would don't. And this is not to be disrespectful to anybody out there that decided to create, but to be honest, I'd rather see what Shauna Jermaine does with predation before I want to see anyone else do. Same thing, but it's the same thing with the strange. I'd rather see what Bruce Cordell comes up with over what anybody else is doing. And not saying that they couldn't do great products, but I know that Bruce is going to provide a great product. I know that Sean is going to provide a great product. So I'm not heartbroken if that isn't part of the open gaming license, because it is what it is.
Yeah, you definitely want to see more from the actual creators who made the setting. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm more excited to see what people could do outside of those existing settings with the OG.
Yes.
I think that's what it's for. Like, give me something new. Because if I have a choice between somebody making Numenera stuff or Monty making Numenera stuff, I'm gonna choose Monty every day, all day, and twice on Sunday.
No, that is definitely valid. But it's still going to be interesting to see those clones or knockoffs or whatever you want to call them. Someone even asked, will there be a Old Gods of Appalachia clone? I mean, I feel like we're going to see a clone of like everything. Like everything is going to be New Gods of Detroit. Before we get more sidetracked.
That's a great question. Will we see abandoned settings from MCG end up getting support from the creators of the Cypher system open license?
Yeah, that's what I mean by the strange.
Because according to MCG, none of their settings are abandoned. You know what I mean? So like they've opened the possibility to return to all of them. So they currently don't have any abandoned settings. So I know what we feel, but according to them, they don't have any abandoned settings. They opened up the possibility to go back. So I don't know. That's a tough question. That's a great question, though.
But what the chat says otherwise, like not supported for 2 years. The dust says otherwise. Again.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that.
We can hope to see more stuff from because again, they haven't officially said we've abandoned these projects. We're no longer creating. We've had them on say hey, if there's enough interest or if we whatever have you, there's always a possibility. That's essentially what they always tell us. There's always a possibility. So who knows?
But to answer your initial question, I do think, and once again, this is speculation, I do think, for the exception of the two that I mentioned, I do think there's going to be a possibility for all those other Worlds of Cypher settings to fall under this category somehow. I don't know how, but I do think that something's going to happen one way or another where people are going to be able to create for some of these.
I agree.
Once again, this is speculation, but I do think that you'll see, you might see some Gods of the Fall, you might see some Unmasked, maybe not the newer ones, but I do think I don't think Claim the Sky or the ones that came out last year, but that first batch, I think you might be able to see some of those. I'm on Final Fantasy VI was my favorite Final Fantasy, so I'll take Final Fantasy VI even if it isn't in Numenera.
I need to play that actually. I keep hearing about it, and that's one I haven't played yet. But to be a little more on topic, I actually think if they're gonna include Gods of the Fall, Unmasked, all those older ones, I think they will also include Stay Alive, The Stars of Fire, Well, We're All Mad Here. I think those will definitely. I don't think they'll either include all of them or include none of them. It'll just be the Cypher core.
No, I think that because a document is living, right? Just because a document could be updated, I don't think it's going to be all coming into one. I think it's going to be like the first three, and then a year from now they amend the document to include because from a business perspective, right? I would think they would want to see, okay, what does this look like if we open this up, right? And how much harm or good is this going to do if we open up all these settings, right? So if they open it up to a few and the reviews are positive, nothing but good things are coming out, then they'll expand it because it leaves the door open for you to be able to correct mistakes. But if you put everything out immediately, you might regret that. once again, this is all speculation. That's only a personal opinion.
That makes
But
sense,
I
though.
think that's how I would see it.
Yeah, I didn't think
I would
about
see it being done.
the aspect of being able to update the document. That definitely makes a lot of sense now that you put it in those words. I can see them releasing the first three setting books or whatever have you guys in
Yeah,
the
and
fall
they
on
could just
mass.
release it over the course of
Yeah,
time, by release date.
that makes
Because
sense.
essentially they were released in blocks anyway. So why not release them into the CSOL
The CSOL.
in segments as well.
No, definitely,
Mr.
definitely good
Williams, somebody
logic.
asked a really good question. Oh yeah, Ken Hupp. Yo, welcome back, dude. Man, you left us. But Ken Hupp asked, I'm really hoping the open license means I could put the Cypher setup in Foundry. That's a great question. I think everything that's going to be in the open license from the CSR allowed, you should be able to do, unless I'm mistaken, because it's going to be open to everyone in the public. So anything that's going to actually be in that document, I think you should. But when we have Charles on, we're definitely going to ask that question, because not only does that affect Foundry, that affects every VTT. So that's definitely a question we want to ask Charles and get a answer on. But I would assume, once again, this is just a layman's opinion, but I would assume that if it's in the document, then it becomes open material to share.
Yeah, the way I see it, and again, we could be wrong, as long as it falls within the purview of that document, the CSOL, whether
Yeah.
it be digital or physical or whatever, like as long as it came from the rules or whatever came from that document, you're good to distribute or sell it or whatever have you. But again, we'll have to find. That's a really the VTT aspect is a very good because again, I didn't even think about that aspect. Yeah.
That actually could. One, I personally think that it's gonna help not only the VTT companies, but it'll help Cypher System, because if you get all these different VTT support that you don't initially have now, and now they all getting to be able to set up Cypher System games quickly and fast by having these materials, then I could only see a positive. But once again, I'm not the owner of the company, and I don't understand all the financial background information that we're not privy to. But I would think that it would not only help Foundry, but it'll help a bunch of other VTTs.
Yeah, it would be awesome to see that increased support for VTTs, because it is a talking point within the community. They want to see more just overall general support for Cypher System within most VTTs. And yeah, I feel like the community could deliver that in like force. Like people are already making their own things that they use for themselves. The CSOL will just give them the liberty to distribute it and make it available for other people, which is awesome. If again it works that way.
All right, so we got two more questions, chat. So this next question is, do you think the license would eventually expand to No Thank You Evil or Invisible Sun?
That's an easy one. Like you said, I mean, you basically answered this already. If it does well enough with the initial release or whatever have you, I could see them expanding it. Like if the community is thriving, products are being made in a healthy fashion or whatever. I don't know how else to describe it. If they're happy with what they see with the CSOL, why wouldn't they open up the other? I mean, I guess again, like Numenera, maybe they might want to keep Invisible Sun like special to themselves. But No Thank You Evil is basically Kid Cypher System, so why not No Thank You Evil?
I'm the exact opposite. I think that once again we both speculated here, but I think you'll never see it expand to No Thank You Evil, and unless it's heavily regulated, because it is geared towards children. So the risk of producing content that isn't up to the standards of Shana are greater when you're dealing with games designed for kids under the age of 12. So I would think it's the exact opposite. I think that I unless it's heavily regulated document, I don't see them opening it up to No Thank You Evil. Like
that actually makes a lot of sense.
I really don't, because it could only end bad if people are producing bad content.
Yeah.
Not only bad PR, just bad for the company. Like the upside isn't as much. I could see them expanding it into Invisible Sun, but for some reason, my gut is telling me, no, thank you, evil. No, thank you. We will not have it on the document.
That makes sense. Now that you put it that way, again, my heart wants it because I would
Yeah.
love to make No Thank You Evil stuff. That would because again, I do that at home with my little one. Like I play No Thank You Evil. I make up stuff. It would be fun to like make stuff for other people to look at. But now that you put it that way, yeah, the risk to reward for them allowing people to make No Thank You Evil stuff is a little skewed toward the risky side. Like especially like again, this is targeted for kids that are like what 7 to 10 or whatever have you,
Yeah.
like 6 to 10. Like it's like very young audience. So the
Because you
chance
know
of
somebody's gonna do an adult version hack of No Thank You Evil.
yeah, that's where it gets a little sticky. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. You're probably right about that one.
I mean, what do you guys think, Chad? Do you think Invisible Sun or No Thank You Evil will ever make it into some sort of a open license? Oh yeah, we know it's not part of Cypher system. We're just talking about
The
just
future.
will they have a separate open license?
It would be cool, but again, the
I
CSOL
mean,
would
if
have to do
Invisible
very
Sun got into
well.
open license, I think you will see a lot of people producing products for that.
Yeah, people love Invisible Sun. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, people would love to make stuff for that.
Yeah,
Um,
Johnny basically put it to, yeah, I doubt we'll see either, but Johnny put it,
yeah,
but those products are pretty much their babies.
yes, I agree with
And
that.
also too, let's keep it real too with your IPs, right? You it's possible to generate income outside of the gaming space with really big name IPs. And let's keep it real too. Can't you see? I could see Invisible Sun as a TV show. I could see Numenera as a TV show. We already saw Numenera as a video game. You know what I mean? So like that's an IP that they probably wouldn't want to mess around with. Let anybody f it up when
No.
5-10 years down the line there could be a Netflix Visley, the Invisible Sun show. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I feel like what you call it, the way Johnny put it best is those are their babies. Like Numenera, I feel like Numenera, Invisible Sun, and now that you put it the way you put it, No Thank You Evil would be considered their babies. Like those three specifically are ones that they would want to just always have control over the creativity of the IP or whatever have you. Um, yeah, that's well put, Johnny.
all right, so yeah, so I think overall the chat probably agrees with us, and even though we know it wasn't mentioned in the documentary, and then we're not trying to imply in any form or fashion that they were thinking about. No one told us this
No.
at all. We just once again we just threw it as a speculation question. But the last question is, and come on, chat, we want your answers on this. If you could pick one thing that's most exciting about this announcement, what would you choose?
All right, so we're biased. I mean, I definitely have a biased answer for this one. GM Roulette. I'm very excited to see people play it, to have, it's such a fun game, and it's very exciting working together to put, hopefully put it in people's hands. But aside from that, let's just take bias out of this. Something I'm most excited is to see people play with making their own setting books like title blades, like old Gods of Appalachia. Like I said earlier, I feel like we're gonna see more books like that. And like I forget who mentioned it initially in the chat. Hopefully, bigger like entertainment IPs will take notice of this, like Marvel or Disney or whatever have you. Like even animes or cartoon shows like Avatar. Like the Avatar Kickstarter did amazing. Like why can't we get like I'm blanking on a cartoon, but why can't we get like My Life as a Teenage Robot cipher system book? Like, you know what I mean? Like some cool like out there setting that we don't really get to see too often in Cypher. That I'm most excited to potentially see is someone playing with a recognizable IP within Cypher system. That's like my I don't know what you call it, my top expectation. I hope I see that. That would be the most. Yeah.
Me too as well. Just a Jim Roulette, of course, but throw that aside because that's like a personal goal. But me, what I'm most excited is I'm excited to see. I really think that this is just gonna bring a ton of new eyes to the great work that Monica Games is doing, and the great Cypher system is my favorite system of all time. I've been gaming for close to 35 years, and it's my favorite system of all time. And I just, my gut feeling is telling me that we're going to see so many new people getting to look at the system and not only play it once, and whether they liked it or not, just never go back to it because maybe they didn't like Numenera or maybe they didn't like The Strange and they got thrown off and didn't really see the beauty of the system itself. I think this is going to change all that. I think that I essentially think that the fans of Cypher system in the next 2 years will double from what it currently is. And I'm most excited for that. Because even if it doubles and not all of them stay, even if a third of them stays, that's just a shitload of more people for us to game with. So I'm just excited for that. I think that's the one thing I'm most excited for. And the second thing is I'm excited to see all these. I'm here for all the new creative. Like I understand people want to work on settings and stuff, and if that's what you choose to do, more power to you. But I want to see the new and creative settings that people are going to come up with, the new and crazy concepts. Because the Cypher system is so modular, it's so easily adaptable that I think that people could take it in directions that no one here has even thought of yet. So I'm here for that. So yeah, those are the most exciting things that I'm here for. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, that it's gonna be awesome to see all the stuff that gets put out. Hopefully, again, we'll see very nice fleshed out, unique ideas would be awesome. Like just like our good buddy Gonza here, his Flesh Pit, like that's super unique. That's awesome. Hopefully, we see more things along those lines where people are. Again, it's like Anthony said. It's nice if you want to work within, a predetermined setting or a pre-made setting like Predation, Gods of the Fall, whatever. But like the unique, like your own personal settings, like those are going to be amazing to see once once they start rolling out. Like those are going to be quite exciting to see.
We have a lot of. You want to read some of these comments because we have a lot of comments in here.
Oh yeah, I'll go through a couple. What you call it? Just people mentioning things that would be awesome to see in CSOL, like Gravity Falls, Adventure Time. Johnny mentioned those would be awesome. Typhonius mentioned like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, Transformers. Those would all play awesome in Cypher. Expanded tools and support documents. Other doc is saying, yeah, that would be awesome too. I feel like people.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point, and I think I think that's a given. I mean, one thing MCG has been great at, even with the Cypher Creator program, is providing people with assets to create. Because the stuff that you get in the Cypher Creator program kind of goes above and beyond what a lot of design programs do. So I think that the open license is going to be no different. I think they're gonna be really supportive of the community working on this stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. They always even now, if you look at the Cypher Creator program, they have a ton of documents to help you get started, like layout stuff, art assets, etc. I can only imagine that with the CSOL will come more tools to help people make these products. Again,
Yeah.
speculation because we don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, the way Montico Games is, I can definitely see them doing something like that. Yeah.
Al, could you read the chat because I had to refresh because my
Oh yeah, and I got you.
so I lost all the
The
chat.
next thing brought up was Gonza Pa. They asked us, are we doing GM Roulette via Kickstarter or are we moving to backer kit like Montico Games? I know that was fairly new news. We haven't really discussed it. But I feel like when it comes time to actually, put up a Kickstarter, whatever, crowdfunding, we'll just ask Montico Games like, hey, which site should we use? And they'll tell us which one to put it on.
And also, and we're going to be 100% honest. We're not going to Kickstarter until we have a full prototype in our hand.
Yes.
Because our plan is to have a Kickstarter, and immediately go to printing, so we want to guarantee fulfillment. So what we're working on now is having a finished product before we even go into Kickstarter. We want a complete box set, because we have a lot of moving parts and we still figuring out sizes of things. So we want a complete product mocked up, created in our hands, so that once we go to Kickstarter or we go to BackerKit, it's just about ordering them and getting, the bulk shipment made, as opposed to still working and designing while the Kickstarter is going. Of course, we're going to have add-ons, during the Kickstarter, but we ultimately anticipating to have 95% of it completely done before we even go to Kickstarter.
Yes, that is the hope. But again, going back to the original question, just whatever Monte Cook Games suggests for us to put it on, whether it be BackerKit or Kickstarter or something else, maybe. But either way, whatever they suggest to us is probably what we'll end up using, because again, they are helping us quite a bit in this venture. So we will probably just defer to their opinions on that matter. And other stuff in the chat. Just more people talking about different settings, like Blondie Gal says Magical Girl setting and module. I always talk about Magical Girls when we talk about making settings, so I would love to make one of those, or if I have the energy for it.
I will predict this. I guarantee you, I don't know what the setting is or the IP is, but I guarantee you that within 2 years, some company will try to bring an existing very popular IP to Cypher. I don't know what it is, but even though I know Fate has this, but like Dresden Files, somebody's gonna purchase an IP and look at the Cypher system and go, yeah, I could build this in this chassis. And so I think that we will see somebody, and depending on that person's success, because once again, let's keep it realistic. If you're purchasing an IP to create a product, you gotta it has to be a success, or it would discourage other people from spending money on the IP to create a game. So if they are successful, then you'll see other ones. But I do think that we will see somebody take a chance with an IP, purchase the IP for game, and then try to put it on the Cypher system.
I will say this before we close out, because we are running a little long. But for anyone out there listening who might own a cool IP like Avatar, or now I'm like Kids Next Door would be an awesome one too, like a Kids Next Door. If anybody out there,
Avatar is Cameron,
no,
so you better have a big checkbook.
Not that Avatar, the other Avatar, bruh.
That's like saying I want to buy Star Wars.
No, not that Avatar. But either way, if you're out here watching, you creative out there who owns this IP, just look at how well Avatar: The Last Airbender did as a Kickstarter. That did amazing. And look at how well Monte Cook Games' last Kickstarter, Old Gods of Appalachia, did. Combining a good IP with Cypher system is just a recipe for success. Like, Old Gods of Appalachia was popular, right? Like, I'm gonna be straight up. I didn't know what it was until Monte Cook Games said, "Hey, we're gonna make this," or we're producing this. And the fact that it did so well shows that, again, people love Cypher System. That's why people bought it. And people love that IP, Old Gods. Because I know a lot of people who only knew Old Gods are now coming in to learn about Cypher System. So if you have...
Same thing with Title Blades.
Yeah, if you have a bomb IP and you come into Cypher System, you're going to generate money. Just throwing that out there for anybody who owns IP and is interested in something like this. It is a winner.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you, but it's one thing if the person already owns the IP, but if somebody in the game industry is specifically going out to purchase or rent the IP of
that's a little rougher.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I would think it would take someone to be successful and to make good money to allow the floodgates to open. But yes. I do think if someone does do it successfully, then you're gonna see more people willing to put their money where their mouth is. I mean, but that's like with any business, really.
One can hope we see that down the line, 2 years after CSOL is announced or really fully released. Like, hopefully, like that's the dream. That's the dream situation right there. IPs, like one does really well, and then we see a like influx of like cool IPs trying to make cipher books. That's the dream.
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess my last statement is I'm freaking super excited for this. I'm super excited for what this means for Monica Games, what this means for Cypher System, what this means for the Cypher System community as a whole. Like we said earlier, I think the positives are going to extremely outweigh the negatives. So I'm here for all this smoke. I'm here for all this. And not only that, I think it's going to create a ton of great content for us on the Twitch and YouTube side of things. So, you know, it's a win-win for us. I think it's going to bring a lot of people into the Cypher Unlimited community. So yeah, I hope everyone here is excited as we are. If you are, let us know in the comment section. If you don't, let us know in the comment section on our YouTube channel as well. You know, and if we got anything wrong, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but feel free to correct us. You know what I mean? So we make mistakes all the time, but yeah, I'm super excited. What do you feel, Al?
Nah, it's definitely a very exciting time. I said it at the beginning of the video or beginning of the stream. It's a very exciting time to be a Cypher System fan. Whether you're a creative or someone who just likes to play Cypher System, or you like to just read stuff, because I know there are some people who just buy the books to read them, like they're not necessarily even playing. Like, this is just an amazing time to be a fan of these products. Like, we're gonna see so many cool things. And again, even if we don't get like high or cool IPs like Kids Next Door or animes or whatever have you, the original stuff we're gonna be seeing should be top notch. Like, we have a lot of stellar creatives within the Cypher community, and it's going to be awesome to see what gets produced. So very exciting time.
Yagamo Chak, you get it wrong until you get it right. Absolutely, and that applies for GM too, right? Confidence is key. I've said a ton of dumb stuff, but if I'm confident about it, you know what I mean? Eventually it'll be right. People are side, people to my side. So yeah, if you make mistakes as a GM, just stay confident and keep on going, and eventually you're gonna get it right. And that applies with our takes as well.
Yeah, most definitely. But you wanna do your little spiel?
Yeah. First off, I mentioned it earlier, but if you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server. It's the largest fan-run server for all things Monica Games. We talking about games, talking about all the settings and genre, talking about the SCOL as well now. So if you want to continue this conversation, go over to Cypher Unlimited Discord server. We're so close to 4,000 members on the server. It's ridiculous. We could touch it. So yeah, join the server if you haven't already. There's great conversations and games to be had there. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. It's not as big as our Discord, but we're having great conversations being had there as well. Give us a follow or subscribe here on Twitch. We'll greatly appreciate it. Or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe our videos there. Please. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. We're about 100 away. So if you find it in the comments in your heart, whether you like us or you love us, go to our YouTube videos and put it in the comment section and give us a follow, subscribe there. We really appreciate it. Or visit our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch like this hat I got on. You'll be the coolest gamer on the block showing up the con with a CU shirt on. And we'll really appreciate it. Or if you want to give us a little donation financially, our videos are always free and they always will be free, but you can give us a little donation on Ko-fi. It helps us out with little things like Zoom costs. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by, chatting with us. This video or stream ran a lot longer than I was expecting because this news is just so exciting. There's so much to talk about. Even though there's barely any news out yet, really, it's just so exciting. Yeah, before we started the stream, we're like, this is gonna be like a 30-minute like little. No, there's just so much. Imagine if Dean was here, like.
Dean was here. We would be here for 3 hours.
Ooh, but yes.
I've been talking to Dean, but Dean has a whole bunch of really cool ideas about this as well. So.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by, chatting with us. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, from us at the CU, we will see you guys later.